When it comes to our health, listening to what our body is telling us is probably the most important thing we can do. Today, we're going to talk about the warning signs of prostate dysfunction. Now, this isn't about scaring anyone, not at all. It's about giving you clear, straightforward information so you can be on top of your health. So let's dive in.
So this is the big question, right? What are the main warning signs of an unhealthy prostate? By the time we're done here, you're going to have a really clear picture of what to look out for.
And here's how we'll get there. First, we'll cover what the prostate even is. Then we'll get into the urinary warning signs, and some other physical signs too. After that, we'll talk about how to put it all together, and we'll finish up with why this knowledge is really your best defense.
All right, let's jump right into section 1. What exactly is the prostate? I promise, once you understand where it is and what it does, all the potential warning signs are going to make so much more sense.
Okay, so let's break it down. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut. But here's the part you really need to remember. Its location. It sits just underneath the bladder, and it wraps right around the urethra. And that one little detail is the key to understanding pretty much everything else we're about to talk about.
So a really great way to think about it is as a kind of gatekeeper. It helps control both the flow of urine out of the bladder and, well, the flow of semen. So, as you can imagine, its health is absolutely essential for things to work the way they're supposed to.
And that location is the perfect lead-in to Section 2, the urinary warning signs. Since the prostate is literally wrapped around the tube that urine passes through, it's no surprise that the first and most common signs of a problem show up when you go to the bathroom.
Okay, so here are the big ones to be aware of. First, having to pee a lot, especially if you're getting up multiple times in the middle of the night. Next, a weak or stop and start urine stream. It just doesn't have the pressure it used to. Then there's having trouble actually getting started or stopping. And finally, there's that nagging feeling that your bladder isn't really empty, even though you just went.
So you might be wondering, okay, but what's actually going on here? Why do these specific things start to happen? It's not just random, there's a very clear reason.
The explanation is actually pretty simple and, well, mechanical. When the prostate gland gets bigger or inflamed for any reason, it starts to press on and squeeze the urethra. It's the exact same principle as stepping on a garden hose. The pressure pinches the tube and that messes with the flow. That's what causes all those symptoms we just talked about. Okay, so let's move on to Section 3. Because while those urinary changes are definitely the most common, it's really important to look beyond just the flow. Your body might be sending some other physical signals too.
These can include things like pain or a burning feeling when you urinate. Another big one is seeing blood in your urine or semen. That's something that should always get you to call a doctor. Other signs can be a little less obvious, like a persistent ache in your lower back, your hips, or your pelvis. And finally, painful ejaculation is another key thing to be aware of.
So now we've got this list of different signs. Section 4 is all about how to put them together, because a single symptom by itself rarely tells the whole story. Context is absolutely everything.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. The goal isn't to worry, it's to be aware. This is about empowering yourself with information, not about creating fear. Being aware early on is what opens the door to taking care of things effectively.
So let's be really clear about this. Everything we've talked about, they're just signals. It's your body trying to communicate with you. Noticing one or more of these signs is not a diagnosis. It's simply a reason to have a conversation with a professional. That's it. It's a call to action, not a reason to panic. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important section, turning all this information into action. Because knowledge is only powerful when you use it.
It really all boils down to these 3 simple steps. Number 1, pay attention to your body. You're the expert on what's normal for you. Number 2, don't just dismiss changes. It's so easy to say, I'm just getting older. But if something feels different and it sticks around, that's worth noting. And number 3, the most important one, talk with your doctor. That's the only way to get real answers.
And this is the key takeaway, really. Trying to figure this out on your own online is just going to lead to stress and confusion. A real, actual conversation with a doctor is the only way to get clear answers, figure out what's really going on, and get some peace of mind.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. After hearing all this, what's the one health conversation about this or anything else for that matter that you need to start? Because being proactive is truly your greatest strength. Thanks for tuning in.